Hey, folks, just a friendly reminder that all shows on the Madness Comic Network are produced by their individual hosts and in no way reflect the opinions of the network as a whole.
Who am I, you ask? I was created in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the waste of a dying world. I was bestowed with an insurmountable task: bring peace after decades of death, persecution, and chaos. I am a grandchild of war, destined to help two camps which hate has fueled for far too long. Surprisingly, I am not alone. Have an odd bunch to make the road a little more bearable. Come with me, to bring hope where there was despair, respect where there was resentment, creativity where there was destruction. I am Pinocchio, and this is my story.
Comic books and graphic novels, including Nightmare World, Tales of Mystery, Brave but Not Dead, all kinds of stuff. And I am super excited for you because you are getting to watch right now, right this moment, out of all the things we're going to be doing, you're getting to enjoy and revel in the Madness Comic Network. And that is awesome. Thank you for being here.
Where's he live at?
He's in, I think he's in Illinois.
Oh my God.
Or Michigan. All right. Hey, folks. We are back for another fine episode on some other Wednesday. I won't be doing any drawing this week, but we've got some guests. I am, because of work being done on the studio in the house, I'm showing up remotely today, but Pops is with us and should be handling all the engineering as our guests show up. So Pops, if you're around, if you want to pop in here with me, that'd be great.
Does it have to?
We all love you, Pops. Have to get you on here. I know we had Brian in the backstage before this started. He's still here.
Brian's there. Vince is having camera issues. So I don't know what's up with that. But ladies and gentlemen, we do have Mr. Brian.
Hello.
Brian Bracey, is that it?
Yep.
All right. Yeah. And before the show started, we were chatting a little bit in the backstage, and I was unaware that I'd be having a fellow Kentucky boy on here today.
Yeah.
Where you say you're from? Hardin County?
Yeah.
What town? What town would that be?
So I'm south of Elizabethtown.
Okay.
Which is south of Louisville.
Yep. So you're somewhere between me and Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm down in the western tip of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yep. Just follow the river on down and you get to us. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. What's the scoop on you and your partner Vince, and what are you guys up to?
Well, we've got a comic on Kickstarter right now. It's The Eternal. I wrote it. He's drawing it, and he's doing an amazing job.
I was impressed with the artwork I saw up there.
Yeah, it's really good.
My boy Chuckles is here today. Mr. Charles D. Moisant.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, my God. For those uninformed, Charles Moisant is like a living, breathing laugh track. So there will be zaniness and hijinks whenever he is near.
Yes. It is fun.
Got no camera today, huh?
Well, I can, but I'm driving.
Oh.
Probably wouldn't be a good idea.
He's in Chicago. You couldn't tell the difference from that and the way everybody drives there. Chicago is terrible. This is my moment for my weekly Chicago rant. I hate Chicago.
Yeah.
I hate that town with a passion.
Oh no, you don't.
Oh yeah,
you don't.
Yeah. Chicago could bite me.
Oh yes. If he hates it so much, why does he let me around hanging out?
Oh, because you aren't Chicago. You're a decent dude. Chicago is a terrible place, though.
Oh, that's right. I'm in Oak Park.
I know a handful of really good people in Chicago, and I ask all of them. I'm like, why the hell are you still in Chicago? This place is beneath you. Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Speaking of beneath, let's talk about the opposite, which I'm just really excited about. Our new friends at Kickstarter and what motivated him to do the comic and what were some of the passing he does, and is he the writer? Mm-hmm. Is he the artist? Is he the producer? Is he the publisher?
There comes the artist.
There he is.
There's the artist.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Vince White?
No.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, let's pretend we don't, just to drive him nuts.
It's too late for that. It's too late for that.
Yes, because all artists are crazy.
You got it, bro.
It's a good kind of crazy.
I'm gonna try to take my headphones off and see if my speakers cause a feedback. If they do, I'll put my headphones back on.
Okay. We might see your ears, and that could be terrifying. What if you all had ear phobia?
I got the Obama ears. All right, hold on.
Oh my gosh! Does that mean that you could actually jump off of the skyscraper and fly and float down like a flying squirrel because of your ears?
Look at
Is that what you're telling us?
Glide like Dumbo.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
There's nothing coming back through.
I'm trying to wake up.
I heard Disney is changing the name of Dumbo to Smartbo because of the insulting pejorative language that they're terrified of.
Oh wow! You know
what?
what?
There's no telling, man. Disney is jacked.
Yeah, and they're actually going to be changing the elephant because it has too much connotations to republicanism. So they're going to make it a donkey. So it's going to be the Smarto, the short-eared donkey. And it'll always be too smart for itself.
But you know what, Les? What it really wouldn't have been bad is you were picking on my ears, and I took off the headphones, and they really were big.
I don't see
No.
any ears. I think you chopped them off. You like took a staple and to
Yeah.
the side of your head like Deadpool. You like tucked your ears in. Is that what happened?
Charles is on a tear.
I see.
Oh Lord.
I see.
Hi,
So-
nice to meet you. I want to hear about the comic.
Yep.
You know,
So
what was your inspiration to write it?
Well, I'm the writer. My inspiration was just some of the classic stories I grew up with by H.G. Wells and Bram Stoker, Mary Shelley, Robert Louis Stevenson. I had been wanting to write something for a long time, and I started last year. I tried to develop a bunch of different stories, but nothing really came together. And then it was this year in February, this idea just popped into my head out of the ether, and now here we are. We're over halfway through this comic, and we're live on Kickstarter. So it's been pretty
am I
pretty
freezing
wild
up, or
ride.
are you guys?
What's that? Hello.
I think. Not sure if my connection got choppy or everybody else did.
I hear you.
Hey, if your connection gets choppy, does that mean you're doing Kung Fu again?
Play a fruit ninja.
Yes. Now, Mr. Artist, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What about the story inspired you to do your incredible work? And are you available for other projects? If some of the audience are like, "Hey, can you do this for me for $8?" and then make money on Kickstarter.
Look, I have my open empty can, on the sidewalk. We'll draw pennies.
Oh my God!
So yeah, I'm always open as long as it doesn't mess with the eternal right now.
Right.
But no, I actually try to help a lot of indie creators and a lot of indie writers and so forth. That's my passion, and so I try to deliver at a pretty affordable.
This is Vince's book. His character Willpower, The Legend of Willpower.
Oh, nice. That's
really
the
cool.
emblem on his chest looks like the fist emblem from Goju-Ryu Karate.
Goju-Ryu Karate. What is that? Let me see. Goju-Ryu Karate.
Yeah, Goju-Ryu.
Yeah, I thought of 4 bad jokes and Les would beat me and ban me from the station for another week.
Karate. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, if you look up the Goju-Ryu, the Goju-Ryu, Goju-Ryu style of karate, your fist emblem on the guy reminds me of the fist emblem that they use.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got an image of a fist that is supposedly derived from a picture of the fist of the guy who founded the style, a guy named Chojun Miyagi. That in Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi is based on the founder of Goju-Ryu.
That's cool.
There's all kinds of fun mythology around Chojun Miyagi. It's one of the styles that I practice. I do Shotokan and I do a little bit of Goju-Ryu.
You actually do
What's
it.
really crazy about Les, in a good way, is he and a Jewish rabbi, also from Kentucky, know all this bizarre esoteric stuff when it comes to karate and kung fu. What is it about you Kentucky boys and kung fu and karate?
You grow up
and
in
all those
Appalachia,
missing-
you learn to fight. If you grow up in Appalachia, you're going to fight a lot.
All right, so I got a question for you. I got a quick question, Les, off subject.
Yeah.
Is Steven Seagal real? Is Steven Seagal real?
Actually, yes. Steven Seagal is a world-class Aikido guy.
Okay.
He is no joke when it comes to Aikido. Now, the caveat there is that somebody who if he fought somebody who understood Aikido, and was well trained in a couple of other things, they'd probably whip his ass. Because I mean, if you're just looking at Aikido technique, he's rock solid with it.
Well,
So,
you know, this is a good segue because Brian and I have had a couple of debates on who would play the Eternal better, and I always thought like young Steven Seagal and Keanu Reeves. I picture Keanu Reeves and young Steven Seagal, right? Brian, he is a fan of. Go ahead, Brian.
Henry Cavill, that's who I had in mind when I created this character.
Dude, Henry Cavill could play anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Henry, it's like every time a role comes up, I'm like, give it to Henry Cavill. They're like, you know, we're casting for the Invisible Woman. Oh, you definitely want Henry Cavill for that. You know, I'm like, I mean, some of the body transformations that man's put himself through, he probably could do it. I would not put it past. He's nuts.
Yeah,
in a good way.
I wasn't a fan of him as Superman, and you know, since we're talking about iconic characters, because that's what I think the Eternal is. You know, I wasn't a fan of him. There's certain archetypes which I spoke to you guys about before, and which I think the Eternal fits into like this Superman archetype. I thought the first guy that played the movie where Superman comes home and Lois Lane has a child, and he ended up playing like Ant-Man or something.
Brandon Routh.
Yes.
Brandon Routh.
Yeah, Brandon Routh.
I think a more slender.
What's weird is my son looks like a younger version of Brandon Routh. It looks like he's the father and I'm not.
Gotcha. I just like that more slender. Well, not slender. Christopher Reeve just embodied that. And if you're looking at the Eternal, I could definitely see a darker version of Christopher Reeves playing that character.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
But
yeah,
I also think why Christopher Reeve sold it so well is if you really think about Superman, he's more like a average, well-fit gentleman. You know, he's not bulked up. He's not, you know, like a quote Superman unquote. But you know, imagine like less as a Superman, it would make General Zod beg for forgiveness.
Especially with that Aikido.
Rip his damn head off. Yeah, it'd be like, no, this is one of those moments. You know, it's like yeah, that I always like one of the things I always harp on about some certain characters. I'm like Superman, Batman, all of the characters that have the will not kill mantra. You know, I absolutely will not take a life. I'm like, then you're going to fight the same things over and over forever.
Yeah. He keeps the story going.
That's how you get to issue 500.
Yeah, that's how that works out. It's, you're gonna have the same threat keep coming back. I'm much more of a mindset of kill it with fire and salt the ground it grew out of.
Oh, okay. I prefer to dissolve it in acid and feed the rest to the barnyard pigs.
I think that's probably.
But I don't have pigs yet, Charles. My chickens will take care of it.
There were 5 jokes that I was about to make, and all of them you'd slap me for.
Probably. And you deserve all 5 slaps.
Yes. Now the 6th one I could make and get away with it.
So
for 5 minutes.
Either one of you fellas, Brian or Vince, give us some background, front load the story for us on Eternal.
And I'm going to send you some artwork, Les, via Facebook Messenger, if that's okay. Maybe you'll be able to pull it in, or.
Well, I'm operating remotely, so I can't do that from here.
Okay.
But
yeah, and I'm in my car.
Do you have? If you have,
so send it to Pops.
Yeah, send it to Pops, and he can pop it up there.
Okay.
Yeah, we love making them work, you little Pops. Let's shake you up and make you bubble over. Obey us.
Okay, let me
So
see.
Eternal, give us the inside of it. And how come Marvel hasn't slapped you saying, "Oh no, we have a thing called Eternals too. The mouse is going to get you." Pull my finger.
Well, we have a contingency plan in place just in case something like that happens. So,
Yes.
yeah,
I would doubt. I mean, I since it's singular and it's obviously not a group book, I doubt that they mess with you. I think you'd be more likely to get messed with by Valiant for the Eternal Warrior character they have.
Interesting. Well, Valiant is Marvel. Marvel bought out Valiant, which still makes it Disney.
What? Did
Wow.
Marvel? I did not. Marvel bought
I didn't know
Valiant.
that either.
Oh yeah. There was a friend of mine who Valiant literally was copying one of his stories, and so Marvel was backing him in a lawsuit, and then all of a sudden Marvel dropped the lawsuit, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And that's because Marvel bought Valiant, comic book company that went out in L.A.
I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
I had
it was
no
Ed
idea.
Jr. Yeah.
I had no idea.
They were suing themselves. They realized they were suing themselves.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's my left leg. I need my left leg. Sorry, little tiny artist. Go muck yourself."
You know you're big when you don't realize you're attacking yourself. Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's effectively the point when you are larger than you deserve to be.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sending Pop some things. So
Okay. Oh, that's cool artwork. Okay. Tell Charles all. Start speaking now.
should I do it? I'm afraid I'll give too much away.
Do it.
I'll do it.
Just give a sentence. What is
I
he?
don't want
Give us the elevator pitch, man.
the elevator
Yeah,
pitch.
you know what? Just read off the Kickstarter.
like,
So
let
this,
me do it because I think he's scared. Okay,
I know. You saw my beard. He has beard phobia.
I'll give you the pitch that I had. Because we were talking about this last night, and it's better to probably talk about the universe than you understand the books. So the Immortal Universe is basically this place called the Cosmic Library, and so it's a library that contains all the books of all creation, basically, and within it are all the great writings and literature and so forth, fiction, nonfiction, everything. And each book is its own world, its own universe, and it contains the greats and a lot of great science fiction books as well. And the difference is that there's this great librarian, and he will basically read from these books.
oops, he disappeared.
And we lost me.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh no.
You know why? Because he wants you to tell the story.
Oh
writer.
no.
He's trying to go back.
Yeah.
He's
So Cosmic
trying to go
Library.
Cosmic
The guy's
Library.
like a librarian who reads books and gets powers. Is that what it's about?
Well, no, it's he takes out these books to kind of immerse himself in these different universes, but he's kind of like the framing device, I guess you would say. He's not like the main character. He would just be the character that would kind of, I guess, link everything together on a broader scale. But
less. He said broad.
broad, BROADER, broader scale.
Broader. There you go.
Yeah. But this particular volume, as you see in the Kickstarter, there's the librarian's hands pulling out a book, and it's the Eternal. It's his story, and basically he's a hero, I guess, for the modern times. He's really, in his civilian identity, he's a philanthropist. He has founded a international nonprofit organization. He's trying to shift the balance of power from, the few, the elites, to the many, to try to elevate humanity, and raise people up out of poverty, out of, bad situations, try to, make the have-nots into the haves, but, try to give everybody a fair shot. And so, of course, the entrenched industries who rule his world, much like ours, they don't want to give up their power. They want to hold on to it at any cost. So naturally, he's up against bureaucracies and industries, and of course, he doesn't. In his civilian identity, he kind of battles those people in the boardroom. But as the Eternal, he is battling their henchmen that they send to destroy him. So,
that is awesome.
Yeah, and this book, it's divided into 3 chapters. The first chapter, you meet him in his role as the Eternal, trying to thwart this bureaucracy that's doing some nefarious stuff. And then in chapter 2, we flash back to his origin. We learn a little bit about where he comes from. We meet, some important people from his past and in his life right now. And then in chapter 3, the focus shifts from him to another character, but her journey ends up leading to, she finds out some important information that is related to him. And so this character and Eternal are going to, finally, their stories are going to come together in the second issue.
Oh, Vince is back.
Okay.
By the way, Vince, you're not needed anymore. The writer will do your job and tell the story properly.
I'm done.
So why'd you even bother coming back?
No, I'm trying to figure it out too.
He picked the right time.
Except, why did you not use Zipatones for black and white art? That would have looked great. But still, your art is amazing.
Yeah, the idea is that it's left open just in case later on, you might color it. We'll see.
On that note, what's the impetus for you guys sticking with black and white?
Well, like we said earlier, some of these characters, really all the characters, are based on public domain characters from literature, from sci-fi, horror, fantasy.
Gotcha.
And so this kind of, the black and white kind of evokes that, I guess, that antiquarian classic kind of feel.
Okay, I can see that.
But, there's always the potential that, we will go back and color them later. Just,
I personally am a big fan of black and white comics. And there's actually multiple books that I work on or have worked on that I really wanted to see stay black and white that people insisted on going colored with. So, hey.
That's really impressive.
There's a certain just genuineness when you see black and white comics. It's just I'm a big fan of it. In fact,
there's nothing for your line work to hide behind.
That's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure. And it's really art. I mean, when you sit and think about it, you can actually hang comic book pages framed on your wall, and there's no better art pieces when they're black and white originals, especially with the text on it. I mean, they're just beautiful pieces of artwork.
Well, I know selling my originals is a pretty important part of my business model for what I do with stuff. So, you're definitely on to something there with, the value of original comic art and be able to hang it and stuff. Yeah. If you stop scrolling for just a second there, on the character's belt in that design, that looks to me like a version of Yggdrasil, the tree of the 9 realms in Norse mythology. Would I be correct in that? Or the tree of life?
Yeah, it's the tree of life. It's kind of it's
Got
kind
good
of
eye.
it's kind of symbolic of the fact that he's immortal. He's an eternal. So it's kind of referencing that. But there's a backstory to it. Just haven't fleshed it all out, but that's something that we can visit in the future.
That
Do you have a
That
background
panel
in
the panel in the upper right corner there reminded me of something I thought when I first looked at your stuff, Vince.
Oh,
And hopefully you don't take this as a negative, because some
go ahead.
folks might. But it reminds me of, and for me this is a positive because I love the guy. Reminds me of John Romita Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all. Say that's
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
I
compliment.
see a huge John Romita Jr. influence in your stuff. That's I dig that. I've always loved his
Where
style.
he's standing in the ring. Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually brings to mind some John Romita Jr. Punisher work.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, and I remember how I wasn't into Punisher at that time. I read Jim Lee's version of it, and now that you say it, like his face, the way Jim used to draw the Punisher, sort of reminds me of that. But I love John Romita Jr.'s work, and as an artist, one of my biggest struggles is I keep wondering if my artwork is too cartoony, and I see all these guys with this hyper realism. DC is very much known for that, while
Yeah.
has always had this more like freewheeling style.
As long as you're able to communicate the story, which you executed extremely well, and I do like the fact that it could potentially be plates for an animated cartoon. I think the style works extremely well, and you've had brilliant execution of of Brian's script. I can see why you two are an amazing team.
I would say that definitely don't shy away from the cartooning side of it. Like
Right.
that's not my personal style. Like the artwork that I do, I tend to be way deep into the realism side of things. With my biggest influence being Bernie Wrightson, but don't shy away from the cartoony side at all, because some of the best stuff. John Romita Jr. Like I said, it reminded me of Romita Jr.'s work, and everybody loves the John Byrne time.
And compared to me, you're realistic and I'm highly cartoony.
Everybody loves the John Byrne era of X-Men, but I personally, as much as I love that, the John Romita Jr. era is always going to be my favorite. Even though one can make a good argument that his rendering on the page might not be as sophisticated as, say, Mark Silvestri or Jim Lee.
Yeah,
I think John Romita Jr.'s storytelling beats everybody.
Yeah, are the days of the greats gone? Barry Windsor Smith, John Romita Jr., Mark Silvestri, Neil Adams. Who's the guy that?
Oh man, and to see Neil
like that, and their stuff all looks good black and white. All looks great black and white.
It's. I've seen people color Bernie Wrightson stuff, and it's criminal. Don't touch his stuff with color. Leave it alone. Neil Adams stuff, always ended up getting colored because he was doing it for Marvel and DC. But if you can see his stuff in person, in the black and white original version, it's different. It's just so different when you can see all the work that he put in.
Yeah. So I'm curious as how you explain the universe, Brian. Like, what did you say about the story?
Well, I gave a little kind of overview. I explained that the story is divided into 3 chapters, and that in the first chapter we meet the Eternal, and he's doing his thing. He's trying to thwart the evil machinations of this bureaucracy. So we see him in action as the Eternal, and then in chapter 2 we flash back to his origin, and then we meet him in his civilian identity, and we see some of the people who've played an important role in his life and who still do. And then in chapter 3, we shift perspective to another character who's on another journey, but her journey leads her to information that is pertinent to the Eternal, which sets up their meeting in the next issue. So did I do a good job? Without giving too much away?
Let me add to it. Let me add to it a little bit. So to give them like the spice of it. Okay, so so if you take literary stories, you place them in these cosmic books, and they have a completely different spin on them, you will get the essence of what the Eternal is and what any other books coming from Immortal Studios may be. So I'm gonna give an example. I'm making this up on the spot. You guys are gonna help me make it up, okay, Les? You guys ready?
Okay.
All right. So you take a character like Tarzan. It's been, well published. People know the concept. But now in this twist, it might be slightly modernized. Maybe he was the son of wealthy aristocrats that owned the top, 9 levels of the highest building in New York, and they had an arboretum with all types of plants and so forth, and his mother would feed the pigeons that would come in. And something happened to him. They were robbed. They were killed. He was left there as a baby alone in the top 9 floors of this highest tower in New York. And no one realized that he was there. But the pigeons came in and they started taking care of him. They started bringing him morsels of food. And before and they nurtured him to the point that he could crawl, he could walk, and he would play in that arboretum with all of the plants and so forth. And they would teach him which plants to eat, which seeds to eat, and blah, blah, blah. And he grew up this wild child at the top of this tallest building inside this jungle that's on top of the skyscraper. And he's akin with the pigeons and the plants in that arboretum. So as he becomes a teen, of course he wants to explore, and so he begins to explore the city, rooftop to rooftop, followed by the pigeons, and maybe he has gained some rapport with the plants that are from the arboretum, and he takes a certain amount of them that grow and cover his body, and he uses them to like swing from building to building. And as he swings and lands, the pigeons land on his back, and he sees different. He smells the world differently. And this is his concrete jungle. He may not be called Tarzan. He might have a whole different name. His family might be the Greystokes, but you'll start to see the similarities as you read through the book. And you might not know what the character is as you're reading, but then it will slowly unfold and you will realize, oh my God, this is from this book, from the Cosmic Library. That's what the Eternal Universe is. Or that's what the Immortal Universe is. And the Eternal is one of many great characters of literature. And as you read further through the story, you will figure out who and what he is based on. Did I do okay, Brian?
I think you just pitched the next title in the Immortal verse.
Nice.
He could be called Divine.
I got a quick question. What is it about? Now, do you do a lot of conventions?
I used to, and I might be getting back into it by next year or so. Yeah.
I'm a newbie, so I haven't done any conventions.
Yeah. Why'd you ask?
Conventions are fun.
Yeah, I could see this being a very well populated convention book. And depending on where you get the book printed or how you get it printed, you could have, like a nice variable cover price. Sometimes I've done a book where it's only $1, and I'll just, with the picture, it's like, hey, got a weird question. Yeah, you got $1, pull it out. Okay, tell you what, let's exchange it for this. Wait, what just happened? You just bought my book for $1. If you want. If not, we'll change it back. But it's only $1. How does that sound? Okay. And then boom, they walk away.
Wow.
I've worked a handful of shows with Charles. It's interesting to watch him work at a show. Yeah, it's very interesting. He's fun.
What's
He'll sell like $1,000 items, and then when it comes to me, I sell $1 items.
We lost Vince again.
Oh man.
Yep. Yeah, we lost Vince again. The wonders of the internet.
I'm a new computer with your net profit.
Well,
this is a great book.
Hopefully we get fully funded and then some. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, you will be.
It is an interesting thing. Trying to work stuff on Kickstarter is very.
The fact that you're more than halfway there, that's fine. It's only $165 you need to make your minimum goal.
Yeah.
But maybe start showing up at different conventions, just passing your card out with a link to the Kickstarter, and that might push it over the top. Or drop off the cards at local comic shops when they have subscriptions, like people walk into the store, buy the books. Just say, hey, just give them the card, or make some show appearances at comic shops around the area during the next 20 days.
There's a project I'm involved in right now that now it's got a little bit of machinery behind it. We've got some marketing people involved, and they are planning. I think this is a great idea, but a smaller scale version of this could be done in a lot of ways, where they're taking a book that I'm working on and they're going to do an ashcan copy of it.
Right.
And that ashcan copy, I believe, is to get sent out to something like 1,500 to 2,000 shops.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the ashcan will culminate in it'll be basically covered in stuff pointing them to the launch page for the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So they get this, they've got a piece of the book in their hand. They can look at it. They're interacting with it, and then they know right where to go sign up for, to be in on it from launch.
Yeah.
I don't think I get my camera to work. Can you hear my mic?
Oh yeah,
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I touched this cable and the freaking camera just goes crazy. But
stop touching cable. At least you're not laying cable.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We won't go there.
What?
Terrible, Charles.
Based off of what the last conversation was and what I picked up on, conventions and and ashcans. When I was talking to Brian, and I said, well, just send the black and white sample, printed off of a Kinko's printer to this one guy so he can check it out. He's like, he was like, you think that's appropriate? I said, man, back in the day, because I'm a man of a certain age, we called these ash cans, and I heard you bringing that up.
Yeah,
and, he never heard the term, and that term is gone. It is faded.
So some of my early ash cans that are being sold for a high amount on eBay. So once you get your ash can out, do it the old-fashioned way with a little strip and color paper on it. But yeah, that's a complete book. That's amazing.
Yeah, and in fact, it's almost better than the real thing, because you feel like you're peeking behind the curtain,
Oh yeah,
and you have a better connection. And this is what, if you're a comic book fan, I'm telling you, you will get that feel from reading The Eternal, and the way Brian writes it, and then allowing me to sort of just come in there and do that the Marvel method thing where he lets me just kind of go in and direct. I kept telling him, just let me direct it. Just let me direct it.
Oh, dude, that is nice. There's two different books that I'm on right now with writers who, until they started working with me, they wrote full old school DC style scripts. And after talking with them, I got them to relax and trust me. I basically had to hand them a book that I had written and they started to trust my writing enough that they're like, I think we could relax back to writing in this style. And it is so nice as the artist to get, I think that the main job you have as a comic book artist is not actually drawing. Drawing is the vehicle for creating the images, but your main job as a comic book artist is really more like a director in a film. You've got to parse that story apart and figure out how to deliver it in a sequential manner that not only makes sense with the story, but you're playing to the drama, the storytelling. You're trying to build that out and convey that the best you can. And when the writer will give us that kind of room, it's beautiful.
Agreed.
Yep, definitely.
How am I to work with as a publisher, Les?
Oh yeah, you guys, Brian and Vince, you guys may not know. Charles publishes comics and games, and that's how he and I really met. Is I've done work for him on a number of projects. He's Charles is really great to work for because he he's an artist in his own right, and so he kind of knows how to trust an artist. So
that's a big deal.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think when you allow for Stan Lee, I'm a Stan Lee fan. I mean, there's a lot of controversy around Stan.
I met him in the bathroom once.
Did you? Did you have a? Can we curse on here? I'm not sure.
Oh, you say whatever you want, dude. Ain't nobody.
Did you have a crappy experience? I mean, how was did he piss you off at all?
I never got the chance to meet Stan, but
oh man,
I'm a fan of the man in spite of some of the negatives about him that are true.
Yeah,
just gonna say it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
But his style, the Marvel method, allows for those happy accidents to come about. And that's when you become like Bruce Lee with the script, the writer, the artist, you have to be water, and we've had a couple of happy little accidents on the Eternal that I think turned out well.
It's always nice when that happens. I enjoy it when there's something like that, and maybe I'll put something on a panel that is secondary to the story. It might just be something I put in there for context.
Yeah,
that wasn't necessarily written, but it's there in the background, and it's always fun as the artist when you do that, and the pages go back to the writer, and they look and they're like, "Oh, I didn't realize there was an opportunity for that in there," or "I didn't," So it's neat. It's one of those things where the writer writes their general piece, and you as the artist get to start bringing solidity to that world. And then when the writer sees what you did with it, 9 times out of 10, that's going to spark new ideas out of them.
Yep, yep.
You get to go back and forth in a really cool way. It's one of the things that makes comics as a medium, so unique to pretty much anything else.
Yeah. Brian, how many times did I piss you off?
Well,
ooh, pissed you off. Better be pissed off than pissed on.
Well, I don't think you necessarily pissed me off. You just challenged my limited imagination. Vince has an unlimited imagination, and
he's like me.
Mine's more limited.
The artists usually do. We're the ones who are swinging wild most of the time. Now I on the flip side of that, I have known some artists who if you hand them a Marvel style script, they will freeze. They're like, "How do I deal with this?"
Yeah, that's when I fire them.
Yeah, I've seen those artists, and I feel bad for them. I'm like, how can you not want that? That to me is optimal. But
I'll say this. I'll say this. Just as far as the book is concerned, we use something. I use something called the icon equation. It's something I came up with and a long time ago. And we how the book is stylized, how Eternal looks, all that is based off the icon equation, which I would love to get into a little bit more, maybe after this or maybe next time. But I'll tell you this. As far as the Kickstarter is concerned, we're almost there. We're just trying to get $1,200. We're just going to get this book published. Brian and I spoke about it. I said, man, this book can sell, for eternity. You just want to get it published, printed, and finished. We're offering tiers where artists and creators can put their characters in the book. It's a $40 tier. They're basically going to be a full drawn image of the character. They appear on this. What do you call it, Brian?
It's like it's a watch list. It's a corkboard, kind of like a police blotter that has suspects on it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And so I'm going to draw a full-size rendering of your character. You're going to get that. Then the character is going to be also placed in the book. You're going to get that. And then you're going to get the actual physical book sent to you as well.
Wait. I can have my character Kremen, the transphase dimensional hopper.
Yes.
In your book.
Yes, and he'll be on the watch list, and it will say Trimmer, the transphase international hopper, suspect, to be watched.
Damn, that's freaking cool. You know what? I'm going there now. Hold on. Let me try and do this.
It's going to be my artist interpretation, just like I did Crom for Pops. I drew Crom, and
I'm tempted to head over there and buy in on that. Just
yeah. You could have your Apocalypse Girl, and I can have Kremen.
Yeah, have you do Anna from Apocalypse Girl.
And what that'll do, we're probably gonna add up somewhere in the letters page who these characters are and who created them. That'll be up and where to find them. That'll be awesome too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Look at what Vince did with Kronk. Look.
Yeah. Look. Wait, hold on. Let me see because they got. Let me switch back. Oh my gosh! I love it. He looks fancy pantsed.
I know.
For those who don't know, Crom is the spirit animal of Pops.
Yeah. So. Now, are you guys familiar with Troll Lords?
No.
Oh, that's great.
Troll Lords.
Crom's been drawn many times.
Yeah.
That one's for you, Charles, right there.
Right.
Hey, you're probably getting my dessert ready.
Look, there's even space for Crom. There's even space for Crom in the internal.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Eternal.
So, just briefly before we move on, I mean, we got a few minutes left. Vince, on in terms of art and your production, give us a look into that. Are you like traditional, pencil, paper, pen, and ink? You doing digital? What's your what's your preferred methods and workflow like?
Well, I love the Bristol board thing, but I kept seeing these young guys doing all this digital work, so I had to go get into that. So I use a Herion digital tablet, and I want to get more into like drawing on the iPad so I can be free and move about. But I draw in Photoshop. My biggest challenges are angles and things like that because Photoshop doesn't have like the straightening tool that I think there's certain apps on iPad that can do that for you.
Oh, dude, I will highly encourage you to try Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah, Clip Studio Paint. Yeah,
I use Clip Studio all the time for stuff, and it ports back and forth. Like if you buy in, I forgot the amount, the cost on it. The Pro version's a little pricier than the lower version, but with the Pro version, you get like cloud storage with it, and if you can do a Pro version that goes onto your computer and your iPad, right?
Oh, that's what I need.
And the cloud the cloud storage with it is accessed by both and synchronizes.
Cool. No, that's definitely what I need. So I'll get a script in, and like Brian's, and then I'll go through it. And normally I break it down into the more classical Marvel script. I'll go through and then I'll add caption, scene, panel. But Brian had that, but I'll go through and I'll highlight them. I'll make them different colors. Page one will be a different color than the caption colors, so I can see it. And then I pay no attention to the dialogue. I just look at the scene description, and I will take 11 by 17 virtual page, and I'll break it into 21 panels, and I'll do thumbnails. I'll thumbnail the whole book out, and then I'll send it to Brian. I try to do at least 3 or 4 thumbnails a day, and then at the end of that, I send him the whole picture, and he'll go through it. And if he has any questions, we'll go from there. And I just take the thumbnails one by one, blow them up to 11 by 17, and I just hard line them out. Bam, just slam them out.
What you're describing, I can't wait to see what you do if you try out Clip Studio. And I'm not trying to be a commercial for them because I don't have any association with them.
Buy Clip Studio.
Yeah, I probably should, but. In Clip Studio Pro, there is a thing called the Story Manager, and you tell it, you say, I'm making a story, okay? And when you make the story, you plug in the title and you tell it the parameters, like I'm going to work at this DPI, this size of a page. You can even set up templates. Like I have templates for blue lines on certain things on pages that I run in there.
Great idea.
And then you
share my window.
And then you tell it how.
I have a great idea. And yeah, Charles, we already know you backed it. You don't have to dox yourself.
Yeah, but I want to show it off to everybody.
All right.
Look at that.
There you go. All right.
Thank you.
That was faster than you in bed with the latest lady friend you had.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Now, I hate that when they break my train of thought like that. I have a great idea though. Next week, why don't you come back, Vince, and Les will be at home where he can actually bring up his screen.
Yeah, I can show you
this stuff rather, and show it to you, and then because that's really, if you go back and look at past episodes, you will see Les breaking down. Hey, I'm using this filter for this and this layers on this, and it's like I don't know nothing about that shit. Somebody like you would.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Well, and the thing I was getting at is where you're talking about how you break a book down first.
Yes.
It has this story manager in it that is essentially doing that for you. But instead of doing it all on one page, what happens is you tell it how many pages you want in the book, and it goes ahead and makes all those pages to your page template that you're going to use to draw them. And then you can just pop into each one and real quickly rough it out. Boom, there you could see the roughs for your entire book, and shoot that off to whoever needs to approve it. And it skips, I should say it condenses a lot of that, because I used to do that. And it condenses a lot of things in the process down in ways that make so much sense that I swear once folks try it, it's like, man, this is it.
I think I've seen some of that happen. It's like it just takes it can take a outline and like break it down into pages or something like that, right?
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah. I mean, it's a little more manual than that, but basically what you were describing to me that you do on a single sheet, putting like 21 boxes down there. Yeah. Instead of doing it on a single sheet, all of those boxes that you create are your pages. They're already your pages, and it's all already set up and ready for you to just jump in and get moving with. But there's a lot of other tools in it that I think. I mean, if you're especially if you have a background with Photoshop, personally, Clip Studio beats the pants off Photoshop for comic book work.
It does.
It is so.
I got to get over that intimidation factor. I should not be like that.
Well, once you learn it, I'm trying to learn it from Les.
The thing about it is that it's a little intimidating to folks at first, but the thing is, once you get in and you start to play around in it, you'll find that 80% of it is identical to Photoshop. It's really only the tools they've added on top that are different, and they're really the most useful parts of it. That, and there's a thing that it's built on they call their ink engine. So there's like in Photoshop, all your drawing is based off of the Photoshop brush, right?
Yes.
Well, in Clip Studio, you've got a dedicated airbrush tool, a dedicated paintbrush tool, a dedicated pencil tool, and a dedicated ink pen. And that ink pen is like pure hammered gold, because the way it works, like you can control things like drag, and you can set up settings and stuff for the way that it interacts with how you draw. And it's
like you're drawing on paper. That's what I miss. That's what I miss most about drawing on Bristol board.
Real quick,
if you take that onto an iPad with a nice paper surface screen protector on it, and like I use my iPad with a paper surface screen protector, and then I use these rubber tips on my Apple Pencil, and it feels so natural.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's a blurred out version of the book, because you've kind of seen most of these pages, but I blurred out the rest of the book. But that's what I do. I create a whole thumbnail series like that of the entire book, and I'll go one by one and just hold them up.
I wish I were at home where I could show you Clip Studio, because I would take that and show it side by side with it, because you're doing manually what it does for you.
Right.
That's
We're
all.
going to segue that into tune in next week when Les isn't home and he can show you all the stuff he's been talking
Real
about.
quick, Lou Pons, I want to thank you for your comments about Crom Rocks and Procreate is fun on iPad, and the Funds Up, and also Billy Power Max. Thank you for all those comments about the Man of Steel and others. I have to say thank you to our amazing guests, Lord Pops Hit Commercials.
And we are out, folks.
I'm actually going to play this trailer on the way out.
Oh, thank you.
You forgot the commercials again, Pops. My gosh.
We're going to do it.
Some more
What
reefer.
we're going to do is get rid of that guy, though. Les, great show. Thanks for doing your thing. Brian, it's good to see you again. Vince, good to see you again. And
thanks for having us.
Let's do this again next week when Les is at home and he can actually show you the stuff that he's talking about.
Yeah, we'll get that set up, man. Be nice to have you on next week, Vince. We'll focus on straight up art stuff.
Yeah, there you go, man. All right, it's been a pleasure, guys. Let's get the goal. Let's get the goal.
Pops, take us out.
You bet. You tell Charles I was just messing with him,
You can kick him.
They call me a god. 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 Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way. I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation. They call me a god. 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 I don't know how to stop. I just go till I drop. Whether it's working or shots, give it all that I got. You can watch me work in my element. Anyone in the way is irrelevant. You wanna cross me, cool, not intelligent. Cause I don't forget shit like an elephant. Go ahead and tempt me, put it on the line and you'll come up empty. If I got time, I'm deadly. Never caught off guard, no, I'm always ready. I got a hand real steady. Look me in the eye and you'll see no hezzy. About to get real messy. I'll put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny.
How do you end this thing? How do you put the where's the brakes on this bus? I forgot.
Jazz hands. Jazz hands.
Have a good night.